Well, this is the first for me. I've never done this. This is kind of exciting.
Oh, cool.
We just started doing it not too long ago, so we're still feeling out some of this stuff, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
It sounds fun.
It is. I mean, Matt, I just tell you a little bit about our background. Matt used to work at the Planet.
Yeah.
In Springfield.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So he's got a little radio background, Channel Z, the Planet. And,
97. Yeah.
Yep.
Someone that actually knows those stations. That's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember it well. It was like when it first came on, it was like, what? There's something different in Springfield. It was
very different. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I got paid in CDs and concert tickets.
Was that was that when Joe Livingston was working there? Do you know
Mr.
Joe?
Blonde, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Blonde, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I haven't talked to Joe in, I don't know how long.
Huh.
It's been a long time. But yeah, he was a really cool dude.
And where are you now, Matt?
I'm in Kansas City.
Excellent. Okay.
Just up the road.
And John,
I'm in Columbia.
Columbia?
Yep. In Como here. Yep.
Crazy. So, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we can have, anybody on from, just like we did a cast last weekend with, I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Silverman, that one guy.
Yeah.
Plays the Magic Pipe. Yeah. He was on in Vegas. So, but just all sounded like we were in the same room. So it works out pretty good. But yeah, Matt and I are both from West Plains, Missouri.
Excellent. Your Zizzers?
So, Yep.
Former Zizzers. Actually, I grew up in Illinois, but I moved down there in high school and was friends with Matt's brother. But yeah, Springfield was the city.
Oh, the big city, huh? Yeah.
The big city. And we eventually both moved there. I met my wife. She was a former Zizzer too, and then she moved up to Springfield and went to Kickapoo. So she's a Kickapoo alum. And
what year did she graduate?
Oh, that's a great question.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
It was early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Early to mid 90s. What was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably would have been like 93 or 94-ish.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
I graduated 88. So
I was 89.
All right.
So, all right. We're right there.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Yeah, I know. How'd that happen, man?
God, I don't know. It sucks.
Yeah.
It hurts physically.
It literally hurts.
It does. And your mom was her music teacher. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we were big competition.
Yeah. Well, where'd you go to high school, Matt?
West Plains.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who is were you in choir?
I was in choir. Yeah.
Who was the director? I might remember the name.
Kelly Dame.
I do remember the name. Yeah.
Yeah. And David Hall. And he just passed recently, actually.
Really?
David Hall did. Yeah.
Oh.
He was there for a long time.
My mom was my vote. Like I was in choir too. My mom was, that was hard. That was challenging. She was a great teacher, but it was weird being in her class, I could have lost my virginity like 3 years before I did.
I get it. My mom was a teacher.
Yeah. So Yeah.
I know. My mom followed me. Like she was a junior high, middle school teacher up until right after I decided to go to high school. Like I think my senior year of high school, she decided to be a high school teacher. Maybe it was my junior year. Like totally screwed it for me.
She was following you. That's just to keep
My brother had it worse though because he had her as a teacher both in middle school and in high school, and I managed to dodge that one.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, literally I could have lost my virginity like there was a girl who I really liked and she lived across the road from the high school and she was like, let's go to my house. And I just wanted to so bad, but it was at lunch and the next class was my mom's class. And so there was no way I couldn't show up. for my mom's class. And so I was like, no, I better not, and it haunts me to this day.
Regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had like perfect attendance through high school.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one day I actually got sick was senior skip day my senior year. That's how it worked.
No partying for you that day.
Nope. They did check to see, where is Matt?
Yeah.
He really is sick. We
He
got a
really is
prescription
sick.
and everything.
Is it okay if I smoke while we're doing this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm
Absolutely.
terribly offended.
All right.
Yeah. I would be, but I can't in my house, so I have to go to the porch sometime.
I'm in my garage, so it's
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to have it set up kind of like that, do this out there, but I don't know. Sound is a little better in the house. So,
Yeah.
so your gig tonight, what were you playing? Where were you?
Well, actually, it was not far from West Plains. It was Mountain View, Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you came in off the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Not just in town.
Sorry to keep you guys waiting, too, by the way.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
It was a winery out there. I forgot what it's called. Commences with a V. V is in vapor. But anyway, it was a real nice place, and we thought it would just be background music. But after the first song, everyone clapped and they were quiet, and I was like, "What?" I mean, I didn't expect them to be actually paying attention, but they were. It's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've probably got a little bit of a reputation in that whole region. People know who you are and who Big Smith.
Some do, yeah. I guess we played in West Plains, a pretty fair amount.
Yeah, I think John and I both caught you when you guys played the Square in West Plains.
Oh yeah, everybody in both of our families.
Yeah,
we were just talking about that. It's like I think that was the last time that, my wife, my mom, my dad, my kids, and Matt and his sister and brother, and both of their parents and everybody were there. It's like it's
that's great.
Yeah.
The West Plains was there was a documentary made about Big Smith, and part of it was one of the sequences was shot there during one of our gigs. And so there's some West Plains people in there.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, we've seen that. John actually, I think, just watched it.
Yeah, I just watched it again today. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yep, I've been filling my house with bluegrass, and I watched Homemade Hillbilly Jam earlier. And
how does it hold up?
Oh, it's good. It's great. It's great. It's weird to see. One thing I was thinking about, just like seeing, like the scene with Rick and his kid, and like feeding the chickens. I'm like, wow, that kid's probably about 18 years old now or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I what I should point out that we didn't make the film. It wasn't something that we made. It was a German film crew. Rick Minnick is the guy who directed it. So people will say to me hey, great movie, and I say thanks, but I was the subject, or we were the subject, so
right.
We didn't really have the creative role in it, except just to hang out and do our thing.
So how did that come about? I mean, did you seek you out, or was it somebody begging them to do it? Or
it's interesting. The filmmaker had made Rick had made a film about Branson, kind of a short documentary about Branson. It was obviously very kind of looking down their nose at it,
right?
Which I can understand that.
No, I can get it.
Yeah, and so he shot part of the sequence at the Ball Knobbers Hillbilly Jamboree Theater, and my family is connected to them in a few different ways, and so it was a guy. My cousin's husband was working for them, and he said, "You should check out these guys, Big Smith." And somehow that ended up in them wanting to do the film a few years later. And I was conscious of that the whole time. Is this shit, is he just going to make fun of us the whole time? And
so they're going to shit over everything we've done. And
it was a little bit of I was conscious of that the whole time. I was like, I'm not going to, if any, I don't know. It was a weird gamble. I was like, do I trust these people enough to make a film that is not just, derogatory or whatever. And I turned out I liked the film. I thought they did a pretty good job. I think they had a crisis in the editing phase. Like, it wasn't coming together as the film they maybe wanted to make, and maybe that was possibly could have been the these dumb American hillbillies version that just wasn't coming together, and so they did it again. And
that's my dog, by the way.
Is it really? Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
It's Ginger. That's she's a Goldie.
Ah, she sounds awesome.
It's a running joke on the podcast. Matt lives like by a hospital, and she likes to imitate the sirens every time they go by. So
that's great.
We let it run in the background.
She's a part of the podcast at this point.
That's wonderful. We might hear my dogs we're kind of I'm at the far east side of Springfield, still in the city limits. Oh, Ginger. And every once there's like a pack of coyotes that lives real close, and every night, 2 or 3 times a night, they start up and they make their little creepy. It sounds like a witch party or something. And then my dogs will go absolutely apeshit, and so if you're lucky, we'll get to hear all of that.
Cool. Have a cacophony.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, sounds good. But it's an interesting way to look at that. It's like, because I was thinking that too when I was watching the movie today, and it was just like, to me, in watching that film, I was just like, well, these are, I mean, like I say, Big Smith has been a part of our household. Everybody in my family, all generations are fans of it and everything. And it's just like, so it's cool to me to watch, but I never really considered, maybe some sort of, the elitist or something might be watching that and looking down their nose at these, or making fun of it. I mean, I wouldn't do that personally. It's just like, to me, it's just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands made a good movie.
Yeah. Rick is an American who moved to Germany. And I think he moved over there because he just couldn't stand like the
Americans.
Yeah. And the whole system. And I think he was like on the other side of the wall. I'm talking.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so you could see from his earlier films that he does not have good thoughts about, like, another film he made was about people he went to high school with, and he thought they were all douchebags, and it comes across in the film, So, and I can't remember how much of that I was aware of, like, when the whole thing started, but I was like,
right,
I'm not going to let him, I'm not going to provide any material for him to make that kind of a film, and I guess that worked.
It seemed like it was a pretty respectful film.
Yeah, well, there's a guy from Matt Sweetwood is from Kansas City, and he works with Rick, and he kind of came in the editing stage, and when Rick was having a hard time finishing, and I think he was like, "Look, you've got to make it like you can't make the film the way you're trying to do it. That's not going to work because you don't have the footage for it." So he said, "Let's do this." I should say too that I like Rick, the director, that he's a friend of mine, so I'm not being down on him or anything. I'm just, and I don't know what all went on in his head, but when I watch it, I'm glad it's there because, mainly because of all the members of like our extended family and stuff. Some of the old people that he got on there and stuff.
Yeah.
That's nice to have.
Well, I think that was important to get like that sense of family because it really is a family affair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah, and we were watching it earlier. It's funny. One thing I said to my wife, I was like, can you imagine being the poor person in this family who like can't play an instrument or sing a lick?
Yeah, that's Steve. Steve,
cousin Steve, huh?
Yeah,
we were trying to figure out who that was. Like, they probably wouldn't make the movie, but it's like, we're like, man, that's
family,
gonna be hard.
Yeah, there's like 19 cousins, and 17 of them were boys or something like that, and all of them sing and play like. Big Smith has a huge dugout full of people like on deck that could jump in if anybody else quit. Except for Steve. For some reason, Steve won't sing. He won't play guitar. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He hates it when we do it at family gatherings. But I have a cassette actually of him singing. Like I have proof that he can do it.
Your black material.
Yeah. Yep.
he can do it. He's got the genes. He just chooses not to. Then, I guess.
No, we're pretty fortunate in that family to have. When I grew up, I thought everyone's family was like that, and then I slowly figured out that no.
Well, and I grew up in kind of that environment, West Plains, Caulfield, a lot of family who did that, and I got the ear for it, but I don't have like the physical skills for it.
I hear you. Yeah,
it just makes me batty sometimes to see like how naturally it comes to other people, and it just does not come that way to me. My dad was a singer songwriter, and I grew up just listening to him play, almost every night.
Yeah,
and I loved it, and I to the point where I didn't even realize like his songs were not songs that everybody knew. That sort of, because I'd heard them so many times. I remember one time like, oh, this one song, and no, I don't know that song. What are you talking about?
Did he perform? Did he play around?
Yeah, occasionally he did. He kind of he was getting close in some ways, I think.
Yeah.
To maybe getting somewhere, and I think he was more interested in being a songwriter than a singer. He had that. He could do it. I think he had a good voice for it and kind of very authentic sounding. It was starting to make a few connections. He was friends with Cy Simon.
Oh yeah. Producer. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's the guy. Apparently, that was the guy to know back then.
Right. Mm-hmm. So he knew Cy Simon.
I'll be darned.
And he'd made a couple of connections, and he'd occasionally get some of the bigger artists to maybe check out some of his stuff. But kind of about the time things started looking like maybe they might pick up for him, he got sick. He passed away.
Oh gosh.
Of cancer. So, that never came to fruition, and whether it would have or wouldn't have, you can't say.
Yeah.
It's a tough business to break into.
Yeah.
But he was a pretty decent songwriter. I'm biased.
Sure, of course. Do you have recordings of?
Yeah, I've got some recordings. I could probably hook you up with some stuff.
Well, sure. I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to hear that. I love that kind of stuff.
Be nice to make it in the Max Hunter collection.
Yeah.
I was falling down a rabbit hole in that today, and it's like, wow, that database is really impressive. And just so with doing that, like through Missouri State and stuff, what were you primarily doing? Were you doing a lot of just like lyric transcription, or?
Yeah, I don't want to overstate my role in it. I kind of came in after it was going, and I kind of went in there and said, I want to be involved. Whatever I can do, let me know. And so my actual work that I did was, not very glorious. It was, that's exactly what I did. Max Hunter, transcribed everything and typed out the lyrics. And my job was to retype his lyrics into the digital realm, which means I typed in a word in Word, and I had to type him in exactly as he did. So I had no editorial role or anything, but it was nice to be around when it was going down and being a part of it,
That's interesting, because I was noticing that when I was looking up some of them, and it's like, there's some misspellings in here like that. And it's like, surely that's not. That must have been how he. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was frustrating too, because he misheard all kinds of words, lyrics, and I could tell what they were actually singing, and I couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
I had to do it exactly. Like there's one song where the line was, "Hug Nancy, kiss Polly. You are at your own ease," and he heard it as like magic is folly, but my hands were tied. They were like, "No, you got to put it in just the way Max did,"
Yeah, the Mondegreens have to go in.
Where was Max from? I'm curious.
Well, he lived in Springfield. I don't know if that's where he was born, but he lived in Springfield.
Right. I'm just kind of worried. I guess. Sometimes if you're born into that kind of culture, you get more of a natural ear for it. So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, he was kind of a protege of Vance Randolph. Did I get that right? Protege? Like Randolph was the mentor, sort of.
Right.
Okay. And he was, he just thought he hung the moon. And so Vance was like, well, Max, if you are interested, then you should, get a tape recorder and start going around the countryside and doing it. And he was a salesman. I think he sold air conditioners or something and refrigerators. And so that would give him the opportunity to take these side trips to go visit people and tape record them. And so that's how he got involved.
Wow. Yeah. There's a lot in there. Is it like something like 1600 or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite
that's
a few.
What the Creek Rocks, who, I'm playing with my wife, Cindy, now. And that's the one record we have out is songs we gathered from that one. And another collection down in Arkansas, John Quincy Wolfe. And so, yeah, I'd always wanted to kind of, I was like, what is this?
So that's where the Wolf Hunter, I guess.
Yes. Aren't
okay.
we
No,
clever?
I get it.
We're clever.
No, I get it.
And
all right.
Yeah, that's like, well, it's great that this collection is there for people to check out, but the next logical step is to take them the material and do something with it, bring it into the modern era or whatever. So that's kind of what we were shooting for when we did that record.
Cool. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, Cindy's got a great voice too. I was listening to some of your Creek Rocks recordings and stuff that you got online. Yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah, she's my favorite singer, so it works out well.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you two are married now. Is that correct? Yep. How long have you been together? I think I used to see. Didn't she play with you guys quite in the past, like off and on? Or
yeah, she, Big Smith. All of us thought a lot about her, and so she was a pretty constant opening act for us, and a lot of times it would just be us backing her up, So we, like, her and I played music together for like 10 years, and it was only after that we started dating, and then we got married like 3 years after that. So
wow.
Yeah. Everyone thinks that, I'm sure everyone thinks it was some sordid thing where we were like on the road, and
right,
hooked up way back then. And
Johnny and June. Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. And, but whatever, who cares? But, so yeah, I always liked her, of course, but, I was a gentleman,
Yep.
Respected the boundaries and so forth.
Be professional.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then, Big Smith was broken up at that time, so we're like, well, hey, let's, I like you. So
that was a sad day. I remember getting that news.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so
Big
sorry.
That's okay. But it's like, I'm like, man, they've been at it a long time though. It's like, surely they need a break or something.
Yeah, 16 years we were at it, and that's what it was. It got to the point where it was just like, it's getting in the band was just an act of will. I was like, oh no.
Right.
But, yeah, no, it's good now though, because now that we're back together, back then we were doing it full time, trying to make a living for 5 musicians, and 6, and then a couple other people on the business side of it, and
that's a lot.
It's a lot, and I think anyone would tell you, like, the music, that whole thing, like, just took a nosedive. It was like, to this day, it's still a lot harder to get people to come out to see live music than it was when we were going strong. We took it for granted back then. We were like, hey, this is easy. And then, I don't know. It's just the trends, Yeah.
No, totally. And
now you've got
that in other areas. Like I was, again, since I can't do it, I end up being a DJ, right? And I end up doing a lot of, I did some mobile DJ stuff, which kind of competes with bands. And I never really liked that part of it, but I can hit play.
You bastard.
Good. All right. So, but I've noticed just like in the last few years, man, that demand for mobile DJs has gone way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Too much competition for the entertainment dollar, I guess.
Well, too much competition from iPods. You know,
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
download a playlist that I like and just hit
Put it
that.
on a
I don't have
laptop
to pay this guy.
Yep.
Well, I sympathize too with the whole thing about being able to hear music really well, but not being able to create it with an instrument or whatever. Because, I mean, I suffer from the same malady a little bit. I've just had to work really hard to overcome it. We have this running joke with Big Smith. We had our great uncle Chester, and he's actually the guy that my Martin guitar that I always played with Big Smith. It was his originally, and bless his heart, but he would play like let's say a tune in like a waltz or something, and like every couple measures there'd be an extra beat or a beat left out, or like rhythm was challenging for him. And so anytime like for some reason we'll be playing and one of us will just for no particular reason just lose track of where the hell we are, and that we say you've had an Uncle Chester moment,
right?
And so
it's his ghost haunting you.
Yeah, it's like I command that you play an extra eighth note in that measure and confuse all your bandmates or whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah,
but
I think too, bluegrass, man, when you're just listening to it and a lot of the ways that you guys play it with a lot of finesse, and it's you guys really step up the pace too on a lot of these songs, and the timing on that's got to be difficult.
Yeah,
just listening to Jody play mandolin stuff, it's just like wow, how that guy can fly through some of that stuff. And I mean,
it's pretty remarkable because when we started, he never played mandolin before. We had
right.
The band was built by adding like one cousin at a time. And so we brought Jody in. He was the fourth guy that we brought in, the fourth cousin or whatever. And he just started playing mandolin on stage with us because that's just that's when he started playing mandolin. It was at shows, and he just he came up with this style of his that's not like anybody else, and it's just pretty remarkable what he was able to do, considering.
Yeah, definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite mandolin player, I think. Yeah, nice guy too. Well, you're all. I mean, like I said, we've met before. I don't know that you recall. You probably meet a lot of folks, but actually, it was Matt's sister, Amber Langston, from here in Columbia. I don't know if you remember her. She brought me to my first Big Smith show, and like I say, I was kind of a punk kid, and an alternativo, I guess, and didn't know what I'd really think. It's like, bluegrass, I don't know, but I mean, it's like, all right, I'll check it out. But yeah, I went to the first show and just like, but then I could really tell. I mean, the roots were there, and I mean, it was genuine, I think, and that's what really brought me to Big Smith. It was like, okay, this isn't some sort of manufactured thing. This isn't contrived. This is,
you can feel the heart.
Thanks.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's the best I could hope for,
Yeah.
To hear that. Thanks, Amber.
Yeah. She's going to be listening. I told her you're coming on. She's
okay,
like,
cool.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And I don't know, because I've always kind of wondered why Big Smith did as well as we did. People ask me, why do they do so well around here? And I've thought about it a lot, but I hear a lot of people will come up and they'll just say, this sounds like what I remember hearing when I was a kid or whatever, and listening to family members sit around and play and sing together.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't think it's anything we did consciously. We started, it's just the way we sound. We just, our family's full of musicians, and we were just doing what our family did when we would get together. And it just, I don't know, it struck home for a lot of people. They were like, I know this sound, but it's nothing we, like now if you sing this note and I'll sing this note, and we were just doing what we were doing,
Mm-hmm.
But I guess apparently it sort of tapped into everyone's, I don't know, collective, notion of what music from the Ozarks sounds like or something. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, it totally takes me back to, sitting in the community center in Caulfield as a kid, all right, and watching an uncle pick up his banjo or mandolin or whatever and just playing for everybody. Maybe it's an auction that they're having to raise money for somebody or, all sorts of things like that just happened there. And that was normal to me. But growing up now, I realize that's not something everybody understands or can relate to.
Absolutely.
It's that environment. But honestly, for me, it's not, the question isn't how did Big Smith do so well. For me, it's like, how did they not just like take over the world, man?
Yeah.
Well,
and I'm not saying that to kiss up. That's like a sincere thing. Like, you guys are good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. We were, I don't know. It may be that we were not, we would go outside of the Ozarks and we were kind of an oddity. I can say bad words, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We called it the what the fuck factor.
Right.
Like we went to St. Louis and we played, half a dozen times before we got any response at all. And it was mostly like at the time, it was like the alt country thing was happening, and we weren't like that. And it was mainly people just kind of sitting there watching us going, what's happening? What is this? What the fuck? And
what do I do with this?
Yeah, right. But they caught on, or they decided they liked it or whatever. And so St. Louis became a good place for us, but anyway, anytime we would do that, go somewhere outside of the region, we had to do a few shows and sit through the what the fuck factor with the audience. It took them a minute to go, I don't know what this is. And I'm not sure I like it. And then sometimes they did, and we'd keep going back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think one of my favorite memories too is just like seeing the first few of your shows. And my dad was a minister, and he grew up in a non-denominational but kind of Pentecostal based church, So we had the rock instruments basically on stage, and but I thought it was great too, just to go into some of those shows and you're about 3 sheets to the wind or whatever, 11 o'clock, and then you guys would come out with some really rocking gospel standards too. And it's like, it's always been kind of a guilty, I'd never admit to my friends that I liked gospel music, not my punk friends, but it was what my dad sang, I was just like, oh, this is great that I can listen to this in a bar and drink a beer and still hear, some of those songs. So that was interesting.
Yeah. If that's one thing that set us apart, is that we could get away with that. And once again, that we were just doing what came naturally, because our families, kind of like yours, John, like they would go to church, but it'd be non-denominational, that kind of stuff. And that's what they would sing around when we were growing up, at the family gatherings and stuff. And that was the easiest music for us to do. With a 3-part harmony, we got tagged as a bluegrass band, and we never did say much to discourage that. But, if you ask people who actually are professional bluegrass musicians, they're like, that Big Smith is not bluegrass, like the picking and the kind of soloing and all that on the instruments, that was something that we weren't particularly very good at that. Our family was more just like the guitar and piano, and those were just the accompaniment instruments to provide music for the singing. The singing was the thing, and we just, I don't know, we played those songs in the bars just because that's the music we knew, and so that's what we did. And we tried to make a point to, I don't know, we chose songs that were not like come to the altar and get saved with Jesus, or you'll go to hell.
Right.
We consciously chose songs that were like, hey, we're going to go down by the riverside, and,
right.
So nothing too heavy,
Old kind of revival music.
Yeah.
The fun stuff.
Yeah, so
Fun
I know
stuff.
what you're talking about there with the Pentecostal non-denominational rock instrument thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's always fun. I think, when we were in a town up in Illinois, I think that's kind of what eventually got us kind of run out on a rail. From there, they were not keen to that. Really kind of tight Dutch community, but
yeah,
people
people have like the ways they want music to be, especially when it's related to a church or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it's got to be this
or
way.
Not be,
yeah. I could never figure that out. I never could figure out what the rules were or weren't. I remember one time like playing at a family gathering, and I had my Stratocaster there, and I went pew, like put a little bendy lick, and my uncle just shot me this look like I'd tortured a kitten or something. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was. I'm sorry, I'll take that back and not play that. Not go bleep again. I still don't know what the rules are. But.
Well, and some of the I get tickled by like some of the hypocrisy. Sometimes like I remember having a real just straight friend, and he'd just be like, I can't, I don't understand this stuff that you're listening to, because I listen to a lot of rock and metal, and I have broad tastes, and oh, that's just sinner music that you're listening to, and then he's just like getting down to Jimmy Buffett. I'm like, why don't we just get drunk and screw? And I'm like, dude, you really preaching to me on this?
Right. Well, that's different. It's different because I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Rock and roll saved me, man. Because I didn't listen to rock and roll till I was, 12 or something like that. And before that, it was just like, because I was definitely a church kid. Like my mom and dad were the music team at church, and every Sunday morning, every Sunday evening, every Wednesday evening is church. All my friends were church friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what happened. I just like, I gotta listen to rock and roll now, and so glad I did.
Yep, got to do your own thing.
You guys remember what your first record you ever bought?
I can remember the first records that I really got onto. We were talking about this just a couple weeks ago, but it's like I was checking them out from the library, and the first song that I can remember that was kind of a rock song that really kind of hit me, that I really felt, was More Than a Feeling. Was the single by it was Boston played that, and that one really just hit me, and I was like, wow, there's really something to this.
That's a good sounding records. Boston records.
And AC/DC, for those about to rock too. I got that one.
Yep.
Steppenwolf. Some other stuff, but those are ones that I checked out. I think actually, and not to sound like I'm too cool for school, the first record I bought was probably Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet.
All right.
I think that was the first one I purchased with my own money. Yeah, that was a hot record at the time, though, man. It really was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Disco Duck.
Yeah,
Disco Duck was the first record you bought.
With your own money.
I don't know. I think that was one. I think that one was actually bought for me. Yeah, my own money. I think it was Neil Diamond. It was a Neil Diamond record.
Was it?
That's big of you to admit that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Fuck that. Neil Diamond's cool.
I like Neil Diamond. I have nothing bad to say about Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty open person when it comes to music. Like,
no,
he's got some fun stuff. So
yeah, we talk about this before. It's just like we really hate it when we hear musicians interviews and they're like, "Oh, my first favorite record was Led Zeppelin 4." It's like, no, it wasn't. It was like the Monster Mash. Come on.
Yeah, right.
You like the Ladybug's Picnic on, That's what you really Sesame Street. That was your jam. Trust me, that was everybody's jam when you're 6.
Oh yeah, the first record. I think the first records I bought were at we had the Benjamin. Was it Ben Franklin? Ben Franklin was like the general store kind of pharmacy.
Yeah, one of those up there. Yep, kind of a dollar store type place.
Yep, and they had 45 RPM records, and I bought 2 records that day. And this is for the gals. I bought My first records I bought were We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's and I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett.
Joan Jett.
Man.
Yep.
I don't know why it was gals. I don't know if it was just I liked those songs a lot, and so I wanted to buy the records.
Oh, 45's got Say by Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. Say.
Oh yeah.
The Tubes. I remember buying the Tubes. She's one in a million girls.
Oh, that's a good one.
1 in a million girls.
I used to like that video. It was a sexy video.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And okay, this one's a little weird and going back there. Jerry Reed, the Bird.
Oh
you remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Jerry Reed's great.
And I was a big, when I was a kid, I was a big fan of novelty music too.
Yeah. I think a lot of kids
always have been. Yeah. Those novelty songs, but I still like Roger Miller like a lot. I mean,
Roger Miller's great. He's the best.
Yeah, he is.
Have you ever noticed like when you see like YouTube footage of him playing on a TV show or something, and to my eyes, he's just as high as he possibly could be.
Yes. Right.
Just stoned out of his mind.
Right.
But executing everything perfectly.
Yeah. Yep. I think it probably affected some of his business decisions, but not his playing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be a really interesting biopic if somebody would do on him. I always said that. Somebody needs to make a Roger Miller movie.
Turned a lot of people on to him too.
What's that?
Porter Wagner.
Yeah.
Talk about West Plains.
Yeah. I think he would. John, you were telling me about this. Would tell people, you need a song, just go buy Roger a pint.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. Roger,
that's cool.
Roger would sell off, a lot of songs that he lost a lot of music, unfortunately, just to people and just giving it away or selling it for nothing just to survive in Nashville.
I don't really know much about his biography. That'd be interesting to learn about that.
Yeah. I think that being a really good movie.
Yeah, I never really read any books on it. I just did some internet research and just did some things on them just because I'm really interested in them. Some of those early tracks were just kind of crazy. They were novelty songs, but they still were edgy. Like, My Uncle Used to Love Me, But She Died. And, like Chug-a-Lug and some of those songs, they were gritty,
Yeah, there's definitely a kind of a, I don't know, flip the man, the bird element to a lot of that.
Sure.
In my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a little bit of that in some of your songs too, and I appreciate that quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Oh well, yeah. I get pissy, or I was pissy as a young man. Like, I realized that at some point I was like, because Big Smith played at different venues, and the venues where it served us well to be nice and happy and friendly. Like every time one of my songs would come up on the set list, I'd be like, oh crap. Because they were all just angry and pissy and stuff, and so I felt bad about that, so I tried to write a couple of nice songs.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Back then it was like just the things that I was just really frustrated about or had to get out of my system. And that's where the songs came from, just like really, I supported that. Like that was my way of engaging in the, in the society or whatever. It was just like, I have no influence in any realm whatsoever, but by God, I can write a song. And so
you got a platform, you got to use it. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta say what you got to say.
Well, I was listening to a lot of early Bob Dylan and his topical stuff and protest songs and stuff like that. I kind of wanted to be like that. That was part of it too,
Now you're working on, I just briefly saw it on Facebook. I don't want to talk out of school about something I don't know about, but you got a Bob Dylan project. Don't you coming up or?
Yeah, no, it was on his birthday, May 24th.
Oh, okay.
It was just my buddy Eric who owns Lindbergh's. And he's just like, let's do a Bob Dylan birthday thing.
Oh, so
I said, I'd love to. And so I kind of rounded up all the people and it wasn't a tribute band. It was just a night of Springfield people playing Bob Dylan songs. And we've got about 10 or 12 people up there involved, and we had a great night, and it was so much fun. So much fun.
Cool.
I always like a Rolling Stone, it's kind of like gets on lists, like the top song, Rolling Stone's best songs of the last 25 years, whatever. And like Rolling Stone gets put on the top of those a lot. And I liked the song, but I never really I didn't get it,
Right.
But of course I came to love it. But when I sang that the other night, that was the last song of the night. And to sing that song, leaves no doubt in your mind why it's such a great song. Because talk about being like needing to get something out of your system, just like, how does it feel? God damn it, how does it feel? How do you like it?
Right.
It was cathartic. Singing that song just shot through my body. It was a physical thing. I recommend it highly to anyone.
Right on. Did you guys record that night or like any video?
Oh, of course not. No.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
We should have, but we didn't.
Right. Yeah, that's a shame. But it's out there in the ether.
Yeah.
So,
hopefully it's going to be annual thing. So, but we had such a great time.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Yep. I'd like to catch the next one. I guess I just got a little too late, but yeah. Oh, well, that's really cool. So, the band getting back together, everybody doing okay?
Yes. Yes. I was going to say something about that because playing now in Big Smith is so much fun. Whereas like at the end of our run, it was just, I don't know, it was,
tired.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like someone would breathe wrong in the van or something. Right. Fuck you.
Right.
Not really. We never said that. We are not.
But you felt that way.
No. We're very non-confrontational people, and that's probably part of the reason that we didn't know how to deal with our issues,
Right.
But now, when we play together, we're not. I mean, the money sometimes is pretty good at the shows, but that's not. We don't have the pressure of having to make a living at it, and so now it's just for me anyway. It's pure fun. It's really great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the show coming up here in Columbia in August.
Yeah,
August 31st.
Molly going to be joining you?
No, Molly didn't. She didn't end up in the reunited version of the band. It's an all male cast, I'm afraid. But it's all the guys that were ever in the band. And it turned out like the way it is now. It's 3 pairs of brothers, and all of us from the same side of the family. So there's a nice symmetry there. Yeah, so that's what we're doing now. That's the reunited version of Big Smith is all the original guys, and we had 2 different bass players, Cousin Mike and then Cousin Bill, and they're both with us in this version, and they both play upright bass. There's 2 upright bass rigs on stage.
Oh, that's fun.
They never play them simultaneously, I don't think, but that sounds pretty fun. We should do that.
Yeah, you should try that. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely gonna be cool. Looking forward to it. And where are you playing there? Are you playing at Rose Park? Is that what you're doing? Or is it the Blue Note? Okay.
And I guess they've got I've played there before, but apparently they've built a new stage in the last couple of years or something.
Yes, it's nice over there now. It really is. They put a lot of work into that place, and it's a good place to go. Really good venue. And as long as we got good weather, it'll be a good time.
We were debating whether to do it there or at the Blue Note. The Blue Note's a nostalgic favorite, of course, but
that's a cool place.
They said actually we can get more people into the park, and so we're hoping for a good turnout.
Yeah. Yep. Used to love those New Year's Eve shows. You guys did the Blue Note bands. Good times.
Oh man.
Good time. You always killed it there on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it's such a good time.
Mm-hmm. Historic venue too, and that's you can feel it at that place.
It's got a story to it.
Yeah.
Stories.
Stories.
Kinds of.
Yeah. It meant a lot to me because in Springfield, like we didn't, how it was, like we didn't get a ton of great nationally touring bands. And so often like the people you want to see would be at the Blue Note. And so, we'd road trip up there to see the bands we want to see. So for me, it was like playing on the Blue Note stage was like a milestone, it was like really satisfying to be able to be up there,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. John and I went to a lot of Regency shows in Springfield.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You remember any good ones in particular?
Oh,
quite
your
a
definition
few.
of good?
Yeah.
No, there were some really good ones.
Some crazy ones, some crazy stories, that's for sure.
Memorable ones. Yeah.
My roommate was a bouncer there too, so got to go backstage quite a bit and meet a few people. I met Shannon Hoon there.
Oh, cool.
That was interesting. Believe it or not, I think Candlebox was a really good show.
Yeah.
My Life with the Throwco Cult, of course, I thought was
excellent.
Really, really interesting. We've got a lot of stories about that.
Oh, yeah. That's
show.
to come in future episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I really just like the local or regional bands. I mean, like seeing the Urge there and seeing you guys there and seeing Slugworth. I don't know if you remember that from back in the day.
I remember Slugworth. I got a Slugworth 45 still here somewhere.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
We cannot find. I've got a warped tape, right? I cannot find anything. Their MySpace is down. So that's the only place they had any music online. I've been trying to get a hold of Billy for 2 years. So I kind of know Billy, or I knew him back then. I'm like, dude, do you have any Slugworth? I don't think he does. So if you've got it,
I'll hook you up.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Like
anything you got, Slugworth.
I hope I didn't make a liar out of myself. I just moved in November, and so
now you gotta find it.
It's like, where the hell is it? But,
what did I do?
Yeah, but I will look and I will hook you up.
Oh man, that'd be awesome if you do.
Yeah, I would love that.
It'll be all right if we don't.
I save everything. I hoard. Not everything, but music related. I certainly try to keep everything.
Well, it's kind of your job too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got an excuse.
Exactly. Yeah. Cindy's a musician too, but she's also has to live in the same house, so she has things to say about it, but she tolerates it. So
yeah.
So what's like the most interesting, I guess, in your eyes, piece of music, or in your ears rather, piece of music that you've come across, like in these archives? That just, is there anything that like stands out?
Yeah. There's some pretty amazing stuff. I say it's amazing. I don't know how it sounds to other people's ears. There's a guy that in the Hunter collection. His name is Harrison Burnett, and I think when these guys would, these collectors would go around, a lot of them were English guys and literature guys, and so they were looking for traces of like British ballads and stuff, and
seeing how the like folk songs maybe.
Yeah, and people were dubious whether or not any of them made it over, but there was tons. They found out like that stuff definitely made it across the pond, but it would be like way diluted and way like maybe like a line or two that was like the same from the original
kind of like playing the telephone game musically.
Exactly. Yeah. And so. And same thing musically, like however it might have sounded in England or Scotland, it sounded not like that. And over here, it sounded like you might expect, But anyway, this Harrison Burnett fella, he lived in Fayetteville. I think he worked in the university there, like as a janitor or something. But somehow he had all that old world sound still intact in the way he sang. It's it's unlike anybody else in the collection. It's like somehow like the music that came to him down through his family or whatever, it just didn't get diluted like that.
That's filtered. Yeah.
And it just has this ancient sound when he sings that I absolutely love. So I would say look up Harrison Burnett.
We'll do
okay.
That.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of the songs are better than others, but there's a couple in there that are just like, whoa, to me. But I'm a dog like that, so
Well, and I'm fascinated just by the stories that a lot of the songs tell.
Sure.
I think sometimes we miss those, like how, so we will have like a happy sounding song and we think, oh, this is great, but maybe there's like this whole tragedy being told. Are we listening to that and finding those? Like I think one song that's everybody knows, Rocky Top, right? That's just, oh, it's a good old happy suit. Listen to that song, man. That's kind of horrifying. You know, some of the lyrics about that, strangers ain't come down from Rocky Top. Right? You know what happened to those strangers? Right? It wasn't pleasant.
No. But, yeah, exactly. Those poor bastards. They had no idea what they were getting into. Yeah. What was it? I've been listening to the Louvin brothers lately a lot, and one of their biggest hits was, come to mention, was one of these old English songs. It was called the Knoxville Girl, right? Am I getting that right? Anyway, it used to be the Oxford Girl, and it was one of these murder stories,
Right.
But the way they sing it is so happy sounding, and it's really graphic and really awful, and it was a huge hit. And my mom used to sing it to me, and it was just, it's bizarre when you listen to it. But
well, even some of our nursery rhymes.
Oh yeah,
rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. God damn, what?
That's horrible.
The bow breaks.
Stuff of nightmares,
Right. Yeah,
right. It's a good. Glad kids can't actually understand that, because how horrifying
would that be?
Right, and it's just like this sleepless parent that came up with that line. They're just exhausted and pissed off.
The subconscious stuff coming out there.
Right. And they just put it with a happy little lyric. Or not happy lyric, but just a little tune that, let's make it sound happy. It's how it sounds that counts.
That's fun.
If you could fall to your death, it'll be great.
Right.
Oh. It's horrifying. Hansel and Gretel. My God.
Oh yeah. Yep. Cannibalism of children and good grief. It's terrifying.
Cindy and I just worked up this song called "The Greenwood Side." It's an old folk tune, and it's basically about this. The storyline is that this gal, and she had these kids, and she cuts their heads off with a knife, and then they come back to haunt her, and that's what the song is. But the music is really beautiful, and if you're not paying attention, you might miss it. But that's basically infanticide,
Yeah.
But it's my favorite song right now. I really enjoy playing it for the music, not because I'm
no
weird.
Not because you're a fan of infanticide.
No, I have no interest in that. But there's something compelling about doing that, like singing those old songs. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, that's strange how those used to hit. I guess really just it became popular.
So when are we going to start the podcast?